Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this new webinar. My name is Jamie Johnston. I am a representative of CPS. I work in the modern work management sector and just going to be running us through a webinar this morning, talking a little bit around OnePlan, a little bit around some of the generative AI features that you have as part of OnePlan through Sofia GPT. And also kind of what impact that has on portfolio management and a little bit around kind of portfolio management itself as well. So what I'm going to do initially, I think everybody is joining or is in the process of joining now. So I'm going to go ahead and just for the purpose of the presentation, I'm going to turn my camera off just so we can focus on the slides. We do have some time for question and answer at the end. There will be a point to pick up some questions. Otherwise, if you do have anything throughout, feel free to do so as well. But there is some designated time at the end to do that. But I'll turn my camera off just so that we can focus on the presentation for now, and then we will look to get started. So if I just put this one here, and I'm just going to share my screen. That one should be all good now. So as I said, my name is Jamie Johnston. I'm a modern work management consultant here at CPS. Just a few of our propositions around CPS coming up at the moment, just around kind of what we do, which is improving organizations outcomes through and a variety of our technologies and process as well. But for today, we're going to be looking at discussing from insights to actions, Sofia GPT's impact on OnePlan accelerator or OnePlan PPM tool. So, as I said, just a bit about myself. I'm an MWM consultant at CPS, which means I kind of work all within that kind of modern workspace, which is everything sort of P3M. So we have things like Project for the Web, Project Online, Power BI, and kind of other bits as well. If you do want to connect on LinkedIn, I do have a QR code there, and I also have my personal email address at the top. So if there are anything that you think of sort of post webinar or any questions or anything that that you don't maybe want to share as part of the Q&A, then please feel free to just to reach out to me separately. I'm always happy to have a conversation around anything that we discussed today as well. So just a little bit about CPS. So CPS is a multi-award winning leading UK Microsoft Solutions partner. We specialize in supporting clients through their digital transformation journey, utilizing those Microsoft cloud technologies, as well as all of the other sort of Microsoft suite with SharePoint and CPS pride ourselves on solving solutions and business problems, enabling our clients to achieve more and emphasizing digital efficiencies, delivering accelerated growth. And we achieve this with a combination of our knowledge around those Microsoft technologies and our unrivaled industry and business experience. We deliver great tangible results for our clients. So we've got a mixture of some of the people who we work with here and some of our accreditations as well. So it's a little bit around us, although I'm sure most on the call are probably already familiar with CPS. Having a little look at OnePlan. So OnePlan or OnePlan AI is an AI-enabled strategic portfolio platform. This helps organizations to increase their productivity and improve their OKRs, alignment, and generate data-driven optimizations across their outcomes, their projects, their portfolios, resources, and a lot more as well. CPS has partnered with OnePlan to help address some of the challenges that are faced by organizations in managing multiple project management systems. The partnership between CPS and OnePlan will leverage the strengths of both companies to deliver a single powerful solution that streamlines project management for businesses. The key benefits that you have with OnePlan is that enhanced collaboration. So OnePlan facilitates seamless communication and collaboration among teams by providing a single unified environment for managing projects across multiple tools. So as part of that collaboration, we have integration with Microsoft Teams, as well as quite a nice sort of notification system that kind of works within the product as well to keep everybody kind of informed and up to date with what's happening in the organization. We have improved efficiency. So with OnePlan centralized approach to project management, organizations can reduce manual effort and improve the kind of overall project efficiency that you have on your day-to-day. We have comprehensive insights, which we'll be looking at a little bit today with Sofia GPT. but it also integrating multiple project management tools with OnePlan enables organizations to gather more critical insights from various data sources. So we've got a couple at the bottom there, like Project and Jira and things like that as well. So there's a whole plethora of possible connectivity that you have with OnePlan in terms of pulling that data in and then using some of that through Sofia GPT and other sources as well to help make informed decisions and hopefully better project outcomes as well. With OnePlan, we've got simplified portfolio management. So with the use of OnePlan, it empowers businesses to manage their entire project portfolios in one place, providing a comprehensive view of projects across different tools and also helping optimize things like resource allocation, which again, we'll have a little look at later on. And the great thing about OnePlan is its scalability. So with OnePlan's integration capabilities, it makes it a very scalable solution, allowing organizations to easily adapt to a new project management tool and methodologies and help that kind of evolve over time as well. So similarly to those other sort of PPM tools that we see with things like Project Online, Project for the Web, it's very much, starting at the basics, and then there's a whole area which you can kind of expand into and grow over time. So it kind of offers something for people that are just starting out and also those people that are looking at some very sort of complex portfolio and program management as well. So that was just a little bit around CPS and OnePlan, which is the two companies that we're kind of discussed today. But going through our kind of main agenda for what it is that we're going to look to cover as part of this webinar. First, we'll have a little look at portfolio management and SPM, so strategic portfolio management, just a little bit around what is that, why is it important, and what are the key kind of metrics that we look at as part of that management style. We'll then dive into OnePlan and portfolio management within OnePlan and what it is that OnePlan is able to offer and some of the benefits that you have from adopting a solution like OnePlan. We'll look at some of the AI capabilities so AI in portfolio management. So that will just be some typical use cases, some instances where we already are using AI in various sort of portfolio management and business in general. And also then kind of deep diving into Sofia GPT, which is the generative AI feature that's available within OnePlan, which can be used to kind of collate information, gain insights, and also just get a much quicker and easier look at your organization's data. We'll also then touch briefly on what's next, so what's coming in the future with AI, and also around the sort of P3M suite, and also we'll have some time for some questions as part of that as well, as I mentioned before. So portfolio management, what do we mean by portfolio management and what is strategic portfolio management? So portfolio management is really broken down into main sections. And in the context of project management, portfolio management refers to the centralized management of one or more project portfolios to achieve strategic objectives. Instead of focusing on individual projects, portfolio management involves overseeing and optimizing the collection of projects and programs within an organization to ensure alignment with its overall business strategy. The goal of this is to maximize the value of the entire portfolio while considering resource constraints, risks, and all those other factors that we'll probably consider quite regularly. The key areas of portfolio management, which you kind of have dotted around the edge, we'll start with the sort of strategic alignment for organizations' objectives. So projects within a portfolio should align with the organization's strategic goals and objectives. Portfolio managers will work to ensure that the projects collectively contribute to the overall success and vision of that organization. Prioritization. So portfolio managers will be involved with prioritizing projects based on their strategic importance, their resource requirements, and potential impacts on the organization. This ensures that resources are allocated to projects that provide the greatest value. We also have resource management. So efficient use of resources is a critical aspect of portfolio management. This includes, managing the day-to-day people that are on the projects, as well as the budget allocation and other assets to optimize the overall portfolio performance. We have risk management. So portfolio managers access and manage risks at the portfolio level. This involves identifying and mitigating risks that could affect the successful delivery of a project within the portfolio, as well as any sort of portfolio related risks as well. We have performance monitoring. So this will be that continuous monitoring and evaluation of the project performances, which is very essential to portfolio management. The managers will track, KPIs to ensure that projects are progressing as planned and delivering their expected outcomes. We have decision making. So portfolio managers will be responsible for making decisions around which projects to initiate, which to continue, modify, or terminate if needs be, based on changing circumstances. Organizations' priorities and other factors will obviously be included in that as well. But this is where we can see a little bit later on how some of that informed decision making can be aided by some of those AI features that we have available in a OnePlan solution as well. We have communication and reporting. So effective communication is critical for portfolio management. Portfolio managers will need to provide regular updates to stakeholders, ensuring transparency and understanding of the portfolio and its status, its performance, etc. And again, having some of that done for you in a much sort of quicker and efficient way, time cost saving around AI, is going to make lives much easier for those portfolio managers. And then finally, we have strategic change management. So as organizations' priorities and strategies evolve over time, portfolio managers may need to adapt the portfolio to accommodate changes. This could involve initiating new projects, adjusting the existing ones, or discontinuing projects that no longer align with those objectives. In summary, portfolio management is all about that strategic alignment and strategically selecting, prioritizing, and overseeing a collection of projects to ensure that they are contributing to that overall organization's success. It involves a holistic approach to managing resources, risks, and performance across the entire portfolio of projects. Now, strategic portfolio management, slightly different. Gunther defines the strategic portfolio management as a set of business capabilities, processes, and supporting portfolio management technologies. So the three main ones for this one really we have is SEM, which is the strategic execution management. So this defines strategy, investment planning, and alignment to strategic objectives and the definition of the desired business outcome. We have enterprise project portfolio management, known as EPMO. So this manages integration or independent enterprise portfolios, documents strategic goals, use portfolio management techniques to track investment, programs, digital and physical products, and track the realization of desired business outcomes in alignment with key strategic business objectives as well. We have the IT investment portfolio analysis, or known as IIPA, which this is, identifies independencies between elements in multiple IT portfolios and desired states. Models created from enterprise architecture to align with decisions in any IT portfolio with current business strategies and desired outcomes as well. So what does that mean really? So SEM involves the strategic implementation and monitoring of the organization's strategic initiatives to ensure alignment with its goals. The enterprise project portfolio management, EPMO, is a comprehensive approach to overseeing and prioritizing an organization's projects, optimizing resource allocation, and ensuring project alignment with its business objectives. And the IT investment portfolio analysis, IIPA, focuses especially on assessing and managing the portfolio of IT investments within an organization, aiming to maximize the value and performance of technology projects in accordance with its strategic objectives. These frameworks contribute to an effective overall organization's overall governance and hopefully promote successful outcomes from projects as well. So having a little look at OnePlan and portfolio management. So OnePlan offers a series of pre-configured solutions. OnePlan itself offers a strategic portfolio, finance, and resource management solution that fit the needs of every PMO. It helps to optimize your portfolio, finances, and resources on an enterprise scale. And as I mentioned before, the connectivity with OnePlan is excellent. There's a whole plethora of integrations which are possible with some of those tools that we're probably already using and know, things like Microsoft Project, Office 365 Planner, Azure DevOps, Jira, and a whole lot more as well. And we do have a little bit later on around some of the changes with Microsoft Project and Planner as well. But the great thing about OnePlan is that it gives you these initial pre-configured solutions, which almost kind of work as a starter for 10 to kind of get your organization off the ground and working with the solution straight away. There are a whole suite of these, but just for this presentation, I picked up 3, which I think is kind of like the main focus and kind of align with what it is that we're discussing today. So here we've got the agile, the adaptive, and the strategic portfolio management solutions. And I'm going to start talking from the right-hand side, moving across to the left. So starting with the agile portfolio management. So this is a flexible, iterative approach to managing your organization's portfolios of projects. this helps to align with those more typical agile principles and values. So this will improve. This will include things like continuous prioritization, funding, and direction based on a change of business priorities and stakeholder feedback, rather than a kind of predetermined plan. So if that kind of works for you in that kind of more agile, adaptive format, then we have a solution starter which would work for you. We have an adaptive portfolio management starter. This is a combination of those traditional project management approaches and agile methodologies as well. So this will be tailored to fit the specific needs and the constraints of an organization's projects. Adaptive PPM seeks to balance the benefits of both methodologies, such as the predictability and structure from those sort of traditional PM approaches, and the adaptability and speed that comes from agile in order to achieve sort of project success in a complex and rapid changing environment. Finally, we have the strategic portfolio management. So the strategic portfolio management is a systematic process of balancing, aligning, and optimizing a portfolio of projects, programs, and the assets that the organization's strategic objectives align with. This involves the identification, prioritization, allocation, and monitoring of resources, investments, and all those other parts that we will look at as managing a strategic portfolio. This one takes on that more traditional project management style, looking at those sort of more waterfall methodologies, those longer form projects, and kind of has a bit more structure and organization to it as well. So across those three, we have quite the split in that we can either keep with those traditional project management methodologies that we spoke about around strategic portfolio management. We could kind of have a middle ground where you kind of have a bit of the best of both worlds. And then we also have that agile portfolio management as well, which will allow for that kind of more ever-changing and faster pace environment. So why do we need a solution like this? Why is OnePlan or Project Web or any of the tools that we use? I guess the main thing for that really is the cost and inefficient use of time. So we have lots of things that we try and reduce in our day-to-day, things like manual data crunching for multiple tools and data sources. OnePlan gives you the ability to connect those various data sources into one place and be able to utilize that data collectively. We have things like manual report creation. So we touched on before, an important aspect of portfolio management is being able to report on how the portfolio's performance is going on a regular basis. And often that process of generating those reports, formatting and updating them and getting them aligned can often, take a huge chunk of your time. Using a tool like OnePlan gives you the ability to automate that and speed up that process and save you a huge amount of effort and time, I guess, across each reporting period. We have data re-entry. So this can be things like, transferring data from one place to another if people are using finance tools and then also using a PPM tool. With the integration that's possible with OnePlan, we're able to kind of have a centralized place for all of that. So not only will it be reducing that manual data crunching, it will be then also any re-entry that needs to be done as well. Chasing team members for status updates. I'm sure this is something that everybody would be familiar with, whether it's status reports or progress on tasks or anything like that. Having a tool like OnePlan will give you a one-stop shop to be able to see the status, the progress, any issues, risks, anything like that that's being raised against a project or a program or a portfolio, without having to go and speak to that person directly, which I know as everybody's diaries get more full, it can be difficult to find time to do that. So having that in one place does really help as well. Packaging and distributing reports to different stakeholders and organization levels. So yeah, as we said, we can use this to create reports, save time on what it is that we need to do on a reporting basis over a certain period. And we'll be able to display those within the tool, or also be able to package those up and send them out kind of as needed. And then we also have just trying to keep track of completeness and timeliness of submissions. So we also have things like date complete and stuff like that that are available within the tool that will enable you to have that kind of top-down view of everything that's happening within the portfolio. And again, kind of come back to making those informed decisions, which we saw as part of that important prospect of portfolio management. I guess the overarching theme of that is that costly and inefficient use of time. Again, everybody we know is busy, everybody's got lots on, and being able to squeeze more time out of that, out of your day with saving effort against some of these manual tasks and the manual report generation, and being able to jump into a project and see the details, jump into a program and see the details that are happening, things like status and so on, without having to have separate calls, conversations, or even writing up emails in its shortest form. So we used to have a little look at AI in portfolio management. So what is the age of AI? Now, people would, I guess, would say we're probably coming into the age of AI now. The age of AI just refers to the era in which artificial intelligence technologies are increasingly integrated into various across various industries, which I think now, especially with some of that generative AI things that we have, like ChatGPT and other areas as well, even Bing GPT now, I believe, is another we're going to see that more and more, and it kind of continues to grow. So arguably we could say we have already entered into the age of AI. AI itself, that would include things like machine learning, natural learning processes, robotics, and then other AI applications as well, like some generative AI stuff like I mentioned before. And in the context for working professionals, the age of AI does have a rather large impact on us, and it's something that certainly can't be ignored. Some of those main things that we've already covered, things like automating routine tasks. So AI has the potential to automate repetitive and routine tasks, freeing up time to focus on more complex and creative aspects of your job. We have a skill shift. I think already people are starting to worry about the change in skills, but I think with the rise of AI, there's also a growing demand for skills that relate to both the designing, developing, and maintaining of those AI systems as well. So using using AI well in itself. I know that seems like a bit of a strange term, but I think we're all kind of aware that there's definitely people that know how to Google very well and are effective in search. And I think there's going to be similar, especially in that generative AI space, of being able to use AI effectively, making sure that it works for your organization and that you're able to kind of achieve what it is that you want from it. There'll also be new job prospects. So the age of AI is going to create, a whole plethora of roles that will be, and even entirely new industries. There'll be an increased need for professionals who can work alongside AI systems for things like AI ethics, data science, and also AI training as well. And anybody who's followed some of the Copilot work or stuff that's coming out from Microsoft at the moment, there's lots around the sort of Copilot studios and other bits that enable sort of that creation and training and data ethics around AI. So that'll be an exciting thing to come. We also have increased productivity. So AI technologies have the potential to significantly boost productivity, leading to growth in other areas. This can even, as I spoke about before, things like report generation, things like allocating risks or looking for threats and opportunities within your data. And we'll have a look at some of that with Sofia GPT a little bit later. But just understanding how that can increase productivity and also save you time. And the last one was just ethical considerations. So as we move into that age of AI, it brings about ethical considerations regarding the use of AI in the workplace. And this can include just things like privacy around your data and its protection. So OnePlan does a great job of providing security around that using the Azure AI model. But definitely looking at exposure to organization information once you start to open that up for people for search, making sure that's protected and collated correctly. Overall, the age of AI presents both opportunities and challenges for people in the workspace. I think adaptability and continuous learning, as well as sort of a proactive approach to embracing the new technologies, are critical. Individuals will be able to thrive in the workspace with some of this new evolving technology. And I think it's something that we certainly need to embrace rather than kind of turning an eye to, as I think it's only going to continue to grow over the coming years and months. Talking about that kind of evolution, we have things around companies that are already got their hands straight into the AI space, companies that we know such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, DeepMind, Nvidia, Intel, companies that have been using AI for a long time and utilize that some of their common use cases might things be like generating content, creating images, creating personalized experiences, data protection, or even just solving. We have on the right some metrics here around the growth around. So I mentioned ChatGPT earlier. This was a statistic from last year, but it was that it gained over 100 million users, which was, I think, one of the fastest growing sites that had existed. So you can see on the bottom metric, it was that there was 1.8 billion users in compared to things like Google and YouTube within, I think it was 5 days or something like that of it being launched, which is I was a million users within 5 days, and then 1.8 billion users users over its average, compared to sites like Google and YouTube, which were, everybody knows their sort of household names. So I think its expansion has come very quickly. I think that is something, as I mentioned before, that we need to embrace and be prepared for, and understand how we can use that in our day to day. So with things like Sofia GPT, we can then look at use cases for how we can use AI within portfolio. So we have things like strategic planning. So within OnePlan, Sofia GPT can help organizations make data-driven decisions and forecast outcomes. So there are features like the modeler, which enable you to run scenarios to understand if we went with these projects or these programs, how does that look 6 months from now? Or if we maybe went with these different projects and programs, how does that look 6 months from now? And enable you to make kind of smarter decisions around what prioritization and what projects you want to run with. We have portfolio optimization. So Sofia GPT can help organizations balance their portfolios and projects to kind of maximize the value that they're getting from them. It also offers just general work management. So this can be with things like managing resources, managing tasks, timelines, making sure that they kind of run more efficiently and that things are optimized for your resources and availability that you have in the organization. We have things like risk assessment. So Sofia GPT can help organizations identify and mitigate potential risks on their projects and portfolios, and we do have a little demo for that a bit later on as well. Resource allocation, I know we've mentioned resources a few times, but I know especially on that portfolio level, resource allocation can be one of the main challenges, and Sofia GPT can certainly help with that, understanding who do you need to hire, where is the weight, where's the load, how can we level this out, how can we do some resource smoothing to make sure that we are being efficient in our portfolios as well. And then investment forecasting as well. So this will be things like managing cost budgets and forecasts, based on a previous number of projects. What's the estimated value of this one, or how much are we going to exceed the planned budget, something like that as well. So just from a high level, a couple of different use cases that we have there around strategic planning, portfolio optimization, work management, risk assessment, resource allocation, and then investment and forecasting. So the AI evolution within portfolio management. So within OnePlan, we originally had that kind of previous era of AI, which was things like APIs integration, some scripts and some sort of light automation. And then we kind of bridged on that suggestive predictive analysis, which we had before. And now we're very much into that kind of assistant, that inbuilt AI assistant around that generative AI, which is things like Sofia GPT, ChatGPT, and so on. And then I suppose in the future, we have that kind of full auto mode, or that kind of a bit more autonomy around how AI is going to work. But at the moment, focusing on that kind of AI assistant. And I think with Microsoft's new technology around Copilot as well, that's very appropriately named, that it's kind of the assistant rather than the main driver. So within OnePlan, we've got AI enabled portfolio optimization, and some of those things that we can talk around that point. We have things like data analysis. So GPT can analyze data related to a company's projects, portfolios, including project goals, resources, timelines, budgets, and risks. This analysis can help identify patterns and trends, and then can make informed decisions around project selection and prioritization. Prediction and forecasting. So by analyzing OnePlan's data, OnePlan Sofia GPT can make predictions and forecasts about the likely outcomes of different project scenarios. This can help decision makers anticipate potential problems or opportunities and make more informed decisions. So this is what I was mentioning before around looking at different potential outcomes of a few programs or a few projects, which ones do you prioritize based on what is likely to happen and what Sofia GPT could forecast the likelihood of that being over the next X period. We have the risk assessments. So as I've mentioned before, it can help with that risk associated with different projects and portfolios, including the likelihood of the project delays, cost overruns, and any other potential issues that could occur on that project as well, by looking at that historical data. And then this information again can help to inform that project prioritization and resource allocation and decision. So relating back to those main features that we spoke about within portfolio management, that risk analysis, the prioritization, the resource smoothing and leveling. This is where it can really kind of help to make lives much easier within that space. And then the final one, which is just that the portfolio optimization on itself, and that can just be used to help find the best combinations of projects to include in a portfolio based on the various criteria. And this could be things like your business goals, the availability of resource, or your risk tolerance. So depending on what it is that you're looking to prioritize as an organization, you'll be able to tailor your predictions and your forecasting for that as well. Within the work management space, we have things like work plan creation. So work plans within OnePlan are essentially your schedule. So in here we can have things like managing templates of work, project planning, managing campaigns, or anything that comes along that as well. We have templates that we can use that can be customized project, and they can be standardized with workflows to help reduce error and improve efficiency as well. So hey Sophia, go and create me a new project of this type, and it can go away and create a new project for you with a predefined list of milestones or a predefined scope of work or something like that as well. We've got schedule risk assessments. So this can help teams assess the risk allocated to an individual task and to the project as well by analyzing data related to its past performance, resource availability, and other factors that can impact project success. By identifying and mitigating risks early on, teams can improve the likelihood of a project success and avoid potential delays and failures. I'm sure there'll be many times where we would love to be able to look into the future on how a project would run, and this will give you an edge to that in understanding what's the likelihood of these things occurring based on previous projects that we've run and previous information that we hold in the organization. And then finally, schedule optimization. So Sofia GPT can help teams optimize project schedules by analyzing the data related to the resources available, the task dependencies, and the project goals, and help identify the most efficient schedule. So again, even within planning, we can use AI to help kind of optimize our critical path and also our most efficient path as well to the completion of the project. Final one, we have AI-driven strategic planning within OnePlan. So this will be things like increased productivity. So we mentioned this one before, but Sofia GPT's AI-based strategic planning tools can help to increase productivity process, reducing manual input and automating routine tasks. We have approved alignment. So Sofia GPT can help to align organizations' objectives with individuals and teams' OKRs by performance metrics and identifying areas of improvement. We have data-driven decision making. So Sofia GPT can analyze OKRs and related data to identify patterns, opportunities, and potential risks. And it can be used proactively, use predictive analytics to forecast OKR outcomes and identify potential roadblocks. And then finally, just that overall optimization, again, analyzing those OKRs and providing recommendations to optimize outcomes. This can recommend adjustments to OKRs, resource allocation, and other factors to help maximize the success and improve the business outcomes for those as well. With regard to Sofia GPT, so Sofia GPT, as I mentioned, is the generative AI function that exists within OnePlan. So a little bit around Sofia GPT itself. So OnePlan Sofia GPT is an adaptive Azure Open GPT, so generative predictive trained transformer module that developed by OnePlan to revolutionize the way that people and businesses manage their strategic portfolios. OnePlan Sofia GPT can understand natural language and it responds in real time, making it an invaluable asset for planning and decision making. OnePlan Sofia GPT can leverage data not only from OnePlan's AI large network of data sources, but also from OnePlan itself. And finally, Sofia GPT can automate several tedious tasks and time-consuming efforts, things like data entry, information retrieval, communication, estimating, those things that we've kind of already spoken about as well. Apologies. So having a look at how the tool works, we've got some demos here that I'm going to run through just to kind of show you how this can work within the tool. So in this screen at the moment here, we are in the My Strategy area within OnePlan. We are looking at our objectives, and what we could do is if we were going to look to analyze some patterns and opportunities, we can kind of come down to the sphere in the bottom right hand side, and I'm just going to skip back slightly so you can see here there are a whole kind of suite of preconceived questions, things like are there any conflicts or overlaps between the plans that need to be addressed or anything like that, but you can also enter in your own data as well, of course. So in this instance, we're going to ask to analyze the data and identify patterns, opportunities, and any potential risks. And then what we'll see here is that Sofia GPT will analyze the data that currently exists within that section, and will start to throw us out some patterns and identities. So for things like patterns, we have high priority objectives. So most high priority objectives are related to product development, marketing, and corporate growth. We have things like opportunities. So this could be things like improving customer excellence. So with objectives such as achieving an NPS of 9 and increase the customer retention to 90%, there is an opportunity to enhance customer satisfaction and loyalty. And then also things like potential risks. So at-risk objectives. So objectives such as launch new product success and generate more marketing qualified leads are at risk. And if not addressed promptly, these objectives may impact the organization's growth and probability. So we've asked it to go away and have a look at some of those options for patterns, opportunities, and risks. And we can see that it's gone away, analyzed that data, and then come back within a matter of minutes and provided us with a whole list of things that we could look to either improve, things that need to be addressed as risks, opportunities that we can seize, or any patterns in the data that we perhaps haven't already focused as part of our own analysis. We also have things like providing summaries of portfolio data. So in this view, we're in the My Portfolios area within OnePlan. We're looking at our epics and our projects. In this instance, we can come down and select Sofia GPT from the bottom right, but we'll use one of the predefined options here and say, please provide me with a summary of the data in my portfolio. What this will then do, again, is collect that information that exists within OnePlan and start to create that overall summary. So we can see things like total projects. We can see things like our total active issues. We can have percentage complete, our budget range, estimated start, estimated end dates, everything in the portfolio, as well as any kind of goals and associated items with those. From there, we could also then ask a follow-up question, something like which projects are highest risk and explain why. And then from those projects that is analyzed as part of that portfolio, it can then kind of pull together some information around which projects it deems to be the highest risk and provide some insights into why it believes that is the case. Speaking on risks, we can use it to identify just potential risks on its own. So in this scenario, this is in the work plan area, which is our schedule. We're within the, we're going to jump from the schedule itself into our collated risks area. And then from here, we can then ask Sofia GPT to identify any potential risks and how to mitigate them for this plan. And then what this will do, again, taking the information that it has on this project and any historical information as well, we'll then look to generate out some potential risks, what the mitigation strategies for those are, and it will provide a kind of whole suite of those for us as well. So on that one there, I think it was about 5 or 6 risks that it identified. It also came up with, any of those mitigation strategies, and like, in instance of kind of risk planning, we could then, if we wanted to, take that a step further and create these into tasks or generate some more risk if you felt that there was something it hadn't covered, or give it a particular topic area that you want to generate risks around, whether it was, resource allocation or something like that as well. So we can use it both to identify patterns and trends, or sorry, in 3 scenarios there, identify patterns and trends. We can ask it to just provide a summary, and then we can also ask it to look at something very specific, like just generating risks within a project itself. We then also have things like resources. So as we mentioned before, and I think we mentioned a bunch of times kind of throughout the presentation, resource leveling, resource summarization is often a difficult task for portfolio management. In this instance, we're looking at the resource plan, which is available in OnePlan. This has, as you can see on our right-hand side, our typical kind of view with our over allocation, under allocation, etc. And what we could do from here is, if we were looking to hire in some new resources, we could ask Sofia GPT, which resources do I need to hire? And it will look at your kind of resource leveling and understand where the stresses are. So in this instance, it's saying IT business analysts, developers, marketing specialists, coordinators, human resource and finance, operations, and IT managers. So it's great to see that we have some selections here based on our current resource demand and capacity. But then again, we could take it a step further and say, how many of these resources do I need to hire? So rather than just saying I need to hire, some, it can then have a look at, based on your current projections, it can understand, how much overlag, how much work do you have available that could then kind of be distributed to those new employees. So in this instance, it's saying, based on the number of roles that you need. We'd need 2 IT business analysts, we'd need 2 to 3 developers, 1 marketing coordinator. It's then also providing a recommendation for human resources and finance there that you might not actually need a new resource at this time, but monitoring the workload and growth could identify a future need. So although it flagged it at first to say, oh, I did actually say in that first comment, there's no apparent issue, but you may need to add some more support if necessary. So it's also going to provide you suggestive responses like that, as well as ones that they can identify things like IT business analysts to say, yes, you need 2 of these resources. They are consistently busy for committed hours over the workload, and also recommendations around things like those human resources ones as well. We also then have things like key insights and trends from financial data. So here we have the finance area, which we're looking at within one of the project views, and we're currently looking at the budget. We can see our breakdown of our finance allocation here as part of this view. And then what we can do is using Sofia GPT, is we can ask it to look for any insights and trends that can be found. So what are the key insights and trends that can be inferred from this financial data? And then Sofia GPT will analyze data in this project, and then we'll provide a whole list of kind of feedback and trends and insights based on that search. We can then add a second question into this to say, do they have any recommendations on what we could do to improve this, or how we could change it at all? So then following up on that, we'll then provide another generative response just to provide some recommendations around the analysis from that finance data. And then just a thank you at the end as well. It's always good. So there, that was just looking at some of the finance data. So as you can see within OnePlan, all those kind of separate areas that we have, whether it's on the portfolio level, whether it's within the project, whether it's within the work plans, looking at things like risks, or whether it's even something like an analysis of resources, which I know is a big one that we spoke about a few times, and then finally looking at the sort of finance space as well. So understanding any kind of insights and trends that you have within the budget area. So it can be used kind of through all the main areas of the tool, but those are the kind of key ones that we spoke about in alignment with portfolio management. So as a summary, portfolio management focuses primarily on that strategic alignment, prioritization, resource efficiency, risk management, and decision making. I think those are the kind of main buzzwords that kind of kept coming up and up throughout the understanding of portfolio management and portfolio managers. OnePlan provides a complete portfolio management solution, which is based on the Microsoft Cloud. Generative AI adds significant value into portfolio management, into a portfolio management team, in terms of analysis and insights and data gathering, as we saw from some of those examples there. Doing that task by hand, that manual process of kind of putting that information together could take an awfully long time. And being able to do that kind of within a matter of minutes or a matter of seconds using Sofia GPT would really add some great value, I'm sure, into the portfolio team. As part of that, as what I said, Sofia GPT is a key component to drive that AI strategic portfolio management. So at the moment, having this feature is really going to help kind of, again, going back to that same cost, time saving, being efficient with our working hours. Having something like that is really going to help to improve that. And Sofia GPT is available now and included as all of the OnePlan solutions. And as I mentioned, as part of the Hello Sofia GPT, it does leverage the Azure OpenAI. So that it is secure and safe for using AI and protecting your organization's data. What's next? So just a note based on Microsoft Project for the Web and its announcement to Planner. So during the Microsoft Ignite 2023 conference, which was November 14th to 17th, Microsoft announced the rebranding of Project for the Web. So this will, continue to integrate with OnePlan, as it in theory is just a rebranding. Although, the Planner is now going to become a unified work management experience that brings together the simplicity of Microsoft To Do, the collaboration of Planner, and the power of Microsoft Project, as well as the integration from Microsoft Copilot as well. But it's still going to integrate with OnePlan because it will still be part of that Microsoft Cloud technologies. Just when is this going to be available? So regarding Planner, starting November 15th this year, the Task by Planner and To Do app within Microsoft Teams will be renamed to Planner, and then spring 2024 we will see the transition over to the planner application, which is the logo on the top right hand side, the sort of purple blue one, is going to be the new logo for Planner Premium. And just the final one on that, does this impact any project users? So there's currently no expectation to change or impact any of the existing users, scenarios, or functionality. The existing project for the web users will still get access to the Project Planner Premium capabilities, and it's not going to affect any of your Project for the Web subscriptions either. If you do want to speak a little bit more around Project for the Web and its transition to Planner and how that's going to look in the future, then please feel free to reach out to CPS directly. We're always happy to have a chat around that as well. So finally, next steps. So talk to us today for 45-minute session with one of our experts. If you want to discuss any of the points we discussed today around OnePlan, around Sofia GPT, or even around Planner Premium and the changes that have been announced by Microsoft at the recent conference, then we are always open. I had my contact information at the start, and it will be up again in a second. Well, but as I said, if you do want to get hold of us, you can get hold of us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or X, apologies, and my work discussed today. But outside of that, that was everything we were looking to cover. So thank you very much for attending, and more than welcome to take any questions around anything we spoke about today. No. Okay. I can't see any questions coming through. If nobody has any questions, then thank you very much. I will just flick back. Need to grab that QR code. Appreciate it's easier to do that just to scan that phone if you want to get hold of us. Then my details are on the screen there. But outside of that, thank you very much, everyone. I will hang around for a few minutes if anyone wants to stick about and ask any questions, then please do so. If not, thank you very much for attending today.